I've been walking these streets for 25 years, pounding the pavements. I know what's going on in the back rooms. I know what's going on in the boardrooms. What's the Deal is the place where the purple people hang out. We're the only show on television that allows a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent to come down and talk it out. The #1 show on television that always focuses on crypto. We tell you what's the real deal.
Swearing before a federal judge to a crime I didn't commit. I won't do it.
When was the last time you talked to Julian Assange? Come on down to Cantina Bella. There's tacos everywhere.
Let's eat some tacos.
Welcome to What's the Deal? I'm John Tabacco. Last week, we debunked the fake news narrative of the blue wave.
Blue wave. Blue wave. Blue wave.
A monsoon of Democratic voters.
Today we turn our attention to the newest, the latest and greatest in the ongoing left-wing conspiracy theory, the great whodunit, Robert Mueller's investigation. Let's do it again, folks. Let's take the fake news exaggerations and tear them up. Let's break it down. Here's the deal. On May 16th, 2017, Robert Mueller was appointed special counsel to investigate Russian collusion within the Trump campaign. Pretty simple. Many fancy, supposed legal words have been used by the fake news to stoke the flames. Collusion.
Collusion.
Collusion with the Russians.
Interference, meddling.
Russian meddle.
Russian medal.
For meddling in the 2016 presidential election.
The newest one, synergy. Let's break them down. Collusion. According to Merriam-Webster, a secret agreement or cooperation, especially for illegal or deceitful purposes, acting in collusion with the enemy. Well, after 19 months, $30 million spent, not a single document filed by Robert Mueller has included any evidence of the word collusion. Hundreds of thousands of pages, briefs, memos, maybe millions, pleadings. Not a single mention of any evidence of collusion. Even if there was collusion, lifelong Democrat, Harvard attorney Alan Dershowitz has said,
the worst case scenario, it's still not a crime.
To be fair, our intelligence agencies have said that Russia and China and others attempted to interfere, may have interfered by manipulating our social media. Most of my friends manipulate their social media every day, but heck, a bunch of Russians were even indicted 19 months later, $30 million to be exact. Multiple indictments for crimes unrelated and post-campaign. And yet again, still not a single piece of evidence tying Trump or his team to Russian interference. How about meddling? Meddle? This word meddle has so many meanings, like Smokey and the Bandit, like put the pedal to the metal.
Put the pedal to the metal. I'm 10-10 on the side.
Maybe that's not quite it, but you gotta admit, Robert Mueller and his team, they've been chasing Trump much like Sheriff Buford T. Justice was chasing down the bandit.
That's an attention getter.
One of my all-time favorites, Smokey and the Bandit. Unfortunately, the Smokey never got the bandit.
May I say you're the goddamnedest pursuee I ever pursued. Where are you, you son of a...
Maybe they meant meddling like metal, like heavy metal, like Twisted Sister. They played Moscow once. Did they collude with Russia also? I don't think so. I think they just wanted to rock. Much like Trump rocked the establishment, it wasn't pedal to the metal. It wasn't heavy metal. In fact, there was no Russia metal. There was no coordination with Trump. There was nothing at all. None. And in fact, 2 years after Mueller, and as Trump calls them, his band of angry Democrats, comes up empty, much like Buford T. Justice. That's my 2 cents for tonight. Tonight, joining us in the leadoff spot, an exclusive interview with Dr. Jerome Corsi, New York Times best-selling author. His latest book is Silent No More: How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. Dr. Corsi, thank you for giving us a few minutes tonight. So, it turns out that after years of being a Harvard-trained investigative journalist, you're at the center of the Robert Mueller probe. And apparently, according to the feds, you're the go-between between the Trump campaign and Julian Assange. What say you?
Well, it's a nice theory, but it isn't true. I mean, I've never met Julian Assange. I've never talked to him. I've never emailed him. And I don't know anybody as an intermediary who put me in touch with Assange. Now, this was the key point of this Mueller, I call it Inquisition. I was with them for 40 hours over 6 sessions in 2 months. Now, I came in, I wanted to cooperate. I gave them my laptops. They were Apple and had a time machine, which was this device that on an external drive, it records the exact state of your computer 4 times a month. So I knew that my entire 2016 was preserved and had not been altered.
So just to be clear, you have a Mac.
Yeah.
And it has some kind of application on there that every 3 months it takes all your information, locks it down, puts it in a little basket and says, here's the first 3 months of the year. And you had that. You did not touch it. You did not delete any. You didn't delete 33,000 emails like Hillary Clinton.
I knew that it was impossible for me to erase or get rid of anything. Now,
So many people got subpoenaed. They had to be compelled to come to court. They tried to destroy things. Just to be clear, the government came to you. They did not subpoena any of your technological devices. You handed over willfully your phone, your laptops, your Google emails, every piece of technological communication you had.
everything. I mean, look, the FBI knocked on my front door on August 28th.
What time in the morning?
Oh, it was about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, in the afternoon. Very
Yeah, they were
nice.
very kind.
Okay.
So they come two FBI agents. They knock on the door. They say, it's the FBI. My wife says to me, here we go. So we had 2 German Shepherds. We had to make sure the German Shepherds, I mean, they could taste FBI. You know,
Right.
they're ready to go for them. So we had to get them under control, first. And then we opened the door and they presented the subpoena.
You've been like feeding them like those costume FBI jackets for years, just in case
So
when
just,
they come.
Here's FBI, go for them. We made sure they're under control.
He's kidding.
Make sure, no, of course I'm kidding. I mean, look, we got them under control. We opened the door, and they handed me the subpoena. And of course, they want to come in. I said, no, I have to get my attorney involved. I said, who do we respond to? Well,
So it's not like TV. They don't come barging in the
No.
door and ripping things
and
apart and
they were
throwing.
happy. They were happy to come in, but they were not on a mission. They didn't have a search warrant, so they weren't coming in to search the house.
Got it.
They were coming in to serve me the subpoena.
Ah.
But they would have been happy to have a discussion with me at that time.
So as long as you kept them on that side of the doorway, you were good.
Yes, that's
Because they didn't have a search warrant.
precisely. And we'll
So if the feds come to your house, we're always trying to educate our audience. If the feds come to your house and wave this piece of paper in front of you that says subpoena, that doesn't mean they can come barging right in and start searching through all your underwear drawers. They need a search warrant. for that.
precisely.
Is that right?
That's exactly
Okay.
right. So after they left, David Gray, the attorney, had a conference with me, Monica, and my wife in the house. We said, well, what are we going to do? I said, let's cooperate with these guys. I have nothing to hide. I've done nothing wrong. You know, I'm 72 years old. I haven't committed a crime in my life. Hardly, I don't think I have a parking ticket on my record. So I said, we have nothing to hide. Let's offer them all my computers.
You gave them everything
So,
voluntarily.
In fact, I even helped the FBI at Quantico. They were trying to download my Twitter account and my Google account because I have that double verification in it. They had to call me on the phone in New Jersey, and they're in Quantico, the FBI.
Okay. Got
and
it.
I'm helping them download things and giving them to them. I gave everything. The FBI now has material I don't have.
So the government comes in and says, Dr. Corsi, we know you're in on this thing. We want all your stuff. We want to, and you happily hand it over.
Here it is.
You help the FBI download your Google emails. And the main question they want to know is, when was the last time you talked to Julian Assange
That
from
was-
WikiLeaks? And I've seen you ask this question on almost every other media, but if I don't, then they're going to say I'm a hack. But did you ever, even third party, have contact with Julian Assange?
None whatsoever. I've never spoken to Julian Assange. I've never emailed him. I don't know him. I didn't know anyone who was in contact with him who gave me information.
Anyone from the Russian government?
Nobody from the Russian government. I don't even like Russian salad dressing. I
Okay.
don't have any Russian.
Now, you know what? We're a little over on this segment, but Dr. Corsi, if you don't mind, stay with us. One more segment. We're going to take a quick break. Don't tune out. Our commercial sponsors mean a lot. Mike Lindell from My Pillow coming up a little later on this show, plus our legal eagles, plus our crypto guests. We're coming back right after this with Dr. Jerome Corsi. Welcome back. We're at the Cantina Bella, our co-host Neelam Brar's new establishment right here in Midtown Manhattan. It's Christmas in the city, and we have Dr. Jerome Corsi joining us again. Dr. Corsi, thanks for staying a little extra time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank
you very much. Somehow, in all of this, someone I value as a friend and mentor, Roger Stone is also injected into this thing. He's not been indicted. We don't know if he's a subject, a target, or whatever he is. But somehow or another, the Mueller investigators have figured out that it was you and Roger Stone collectively that had this intermediary that was able to go to Assange and tip off the Trumps on when the big dump was coming.
Right.
You really figured that out yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, their theory was it was, Roger Stone to me to Assange, and then Roger Stone to Steve Bannon to Donald Trump, and that was the chain for collusion. The problem was I never knew, it had no contact with Assange or anybody as an intermediary. Now, the sticking point was that we took a vacation in July and August 2016, went to Italy.
You were on the plane,
and it was
you had this moment of inertia where it came to you.
Well, in fact, that's how it happened. All the pieces came together. I connected the dots. I say these moments for me are like, the marbles going around the bowl, and suddenly it falls through the hole at the bottom. I've got it.
Like the clown's mouth on the 19th hole of the mini golf course.
Right, exactly. So, here's what the prosecutors, they can't believe this. They, and look, I'm a religious guy. I say openly, Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior. Now that makes me a weird duck coming from Harvard, okay? But Jeannie Reeves, one of the prosecutors, ridiculed this idea. But I'm telling you, I figured it out, and I didn't have any other source that would have told me or did tell me. I just figured it out on my own. And it really wasn't all that hard.
So when you sent Roger an email saying, friend in embassy, may do another drop, possibly Podesta, that was your own suppositions from your mind. You're an investigative journalist. You're a doctorate from Harvard. You put the pieces together as a astute political watcher and basically made a projection.
Yes, and see, I also said in that email, I said, word is. So I'm trying to make it sound like I've got sources.
Like you got some inside
Well,
scoop.
this goes way back.
So you were like, and listen, Roger Stone's my friend.
Right,
Sure. And I've known him. He's one of my political mentors. You know what I
Sure.
mean? He says, one man's dirty trick is another man's public
yes.
recourse, right? I think Roger Stone is, a political icon or enigma or whatever. Certainly infamous, right? But Roger has said himself that he's a master of exaggeration.
If I had talked to Assange, I would have told Roger, I've talked to Assange, and here's what he says.
So do you think you have some special, witch powers or
No,
some sixth sense that you just figured things out that no one else can without any material evidence?
I think it's a combination. My father was an investigative journalist. I've had really good training all my life from, and even when I was in the university as an undergraduate and graduate student, I did contract work with a lot of the intelligence agencies. I worked with civil violence research centers at both Case Western Reserve and Brandeis. I've had great training.
But you don't think you have some other energy, some premonition or some feeling that you said you figured things out in kindergarten that no one else knew when they came right. So do you have have some special sixth sense?
John, I don't attribute to any psychic powers or anything of that.
I'm not trying to give you a tinfoil hat. I'm saying,
but
I think certain people have.
I have the ability to. I'm good at this kind of solving a complex puzzle and figuring it out.
When you were a kid, were you good at the Rubik's Cube?
Oh, I was always good at that. That was easy. Yeah,
Okay.
there was nothing to it. But the point is, when I figured this out, I was certain I was right. Okay, now here's how I figured it out. The Democrats, I had a source who told me how the Democrats put together all of their computer systems. This source, it gave me like 1,000 pages, and they were enormously right. Now I figured out who she was, and called up her ex-husband, who was an NSA guy, and she said, well, she's...
Can you name any of these people?
No, I like to keep her private.
Okay.
But
All right.
the special counselor know who she is.
I got to ask these questions.
Well,
I'm
John.
not an esteemed investigative
Hey, John,
journalist like you, but I still
I like
have
your
to-
questions. They're
Okay,
good questions.
good,
I'm
good,
enjoying
good.
this,
Yeah.
okay? So I basically, with this, her husband said she's nuts. I said, she might be nuts, but she's got good information. Okay, so I knew when you're trying to solve a cybercrime, you got to say what was stolen and what computer did that come out of. Okay, now on the 22nd of July, 2016, when Assange drops 40,000 emails on Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I do the very boring exercise of looking at whose emails they were and what server they went through. Well, they were going through the Democratic National Party email server. And the officials were all involved in Hillary Clinton's campaign, but I said, John Podesta's emails are missing. Now, whoever
okay.
got into that server had to see John Podesta's emails.
And they cleaned those out. That's why
I
they
know
were
if I was in there, I'd have taken John Podesta's first.
in a minute.
That's
Right,
what I
in
was
a minute,
going.
in a New York minute.
And since in a New York minute, since they weren't there, I figured that Assange was doing what I would have done. That's the mother lode. You save it for October with the October surprise. And I figured this out, and I was sure I was right. I didn't have any other source that told me, and I just happened to be exactly right.
So you guessed at it, you exaggerated it a little to
Yeah,
Roger.
I did.
You give Roger a half an exaggeration, it could turn into 4 exaggerations.
Yeah.
I reached out to Roger and said, I'm having Dr. Corsi on. Anything, you think is intelligent that I can ask him. He made some allegations that the federal prosecutors were badgering you so hard that he suggested that they took you out for drinks.
Who took me out for drinks?
The prosecutors.
The prosecutors never took me out for drinks.
They didn't.
That never happened.
Okay, he
That
said,
never
ask him
happened.
if they.
I mean, I had a
if-
few drinks on my own to try to recover from these
right,
guys.
But the feds never took you out for a few drinks.
No,
to
the
try
feds
to
never took me out.
loosen you up.
That never
Okay,
happened.
Well, okay,
That
so
never-
you and Roger are not in the greatest.
No,
place
no.
then.
First of all, I've got great respect for Roger, and Roger has his perceptions of what happened, and he's 100% in charge of his perceptions. They may differ from mine. That doesn't surprise me. I'm in charge of my perceptions, and my perceptions may be right or wrong. I don't know.
I haven't seen a thing he's said about you that was negative.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm watching this stuff objectively, and I feel like you two guys are wholly believable that, hey, we're both, two kind of exaggerators that want to get in the game and, get as much information as we can. But it's almost like that's what foils the feds, right?
Well,
because they think they're so smart. We got them.
And they have, the feds had a preconceived theory. They had their theory. Their theory was going to be real simple. Stone, Corsi, Assange.
Yeah.
And
do you think anyone from the federal government, in your view, has broken the law in the way they have hounded you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I filed a criminal complaint.
I know you
against
did,
Mueller.
But are there any specific people? Because I've heard a lot of names bandied about this investigator, that investigator. I've heard people say they're using mafia tactics and they're using strong arm tactics. In your view, your doctorate, you've been around, has anyone broken the law in their pursuit of you?
Well, I think the 3 investigators were Jeannie Rhee, who had done legal work for Hillary Clinton's emails and the Clinton Foundation. Right. There was Aaron Zelinsky, who was a prosecutor under Rosenstein.
Yep.
And also Andrew Goldstein, who was head of the corruption division for Pret Bahara in Southern District of New York. Now, they're all solid Democrats. But there's one on this point about the lying. I did write a memo for Roger Stone on John Podesta and Hillary Clinton in Russia. Hillary Clinton and John Podesta made millions of dollars selling U.S. military technology
Uranium
to Russia.
One.
All of those.
Yep.
Okay, and in my mind, I was helping Roger reposition his tweet where he, instead of saying Podesta's going to be in the barrel because it was because of this.
I posted a tweet that said, "The Podesta's time in the barrel will come." I meant that public scrutiny of the Podesta's Russian business interests as I had been briefed about by Jerry Corsi, would be in the media. Now Jerry Corsi has been browbeat into claiming that that was some kind of a cover story.
Now, I knew that was
Not true.
I knew it was creating another explanation, which is common in politics. Their plea deal would have required that I, in fact, they were
Lie about a lie.
Well, they were saying I had to admit to the judge and to God that I had knowingly and willfully given them information I knew to be false with the intent to deceive them. Now, I didn't do that. In fact, the one count they wanted me to plead to was testimony I gave on the first day before I saw my 2016
So
emails.
just to be clear, you were offered a plea deal.
Yes.
By the Mueller team.
Yes.
Where you may have spent very little to no time
They said
in
no
jail.
prison time.
No prison time.
Right.
And as we sit here today,
Right.
you are waiting every moment to potentially
They could
be
come in the
grabbed
door
up.
right now.
That
my
would
wife,
be
my
I would
wife-
hate it for you,
Yeah.
but it would be great ratings
Be good
for
television.
us. You know?
Be good
I
television.
was thinking about going
Well,
to the Halloween
look,
store and getting some FBI
Okay,
jackets
now wait
and
a
have a
minute.
few guys come
You
in
guys,
and grab
you guys had a
Yeah.
car. You guys had a car to pick me up, and my wife thought that was the FBI coming to arrest me.
Right, that's what
that
I said
car
to
that was
Frank. I
sitting
said
there.
that I wish we were taping the amount of communications we had today just to get you picked up to come here.
Yeah, she thought the FBI was sitting outside of the door
Dr.
waiting to
Corsi,
get me.
You had to give like 5 different stories just to get you
Yeah,
here.
okay.
So
Now look-
you're in fear every day. You're living your life, but the outside chances at any given time, a black van can pull up.
Sure.
They can jump out, drag in, and Lord knows what could happen.
And
but
see,
at the end of it, you very well may be in jail for the rest of your
It
life.
could happen.
And you, because of your principles, because of your faith in the Lord, because of what you know in your heart to be true,
Right.
you've decided you'd rather sit in jail for the rest of your life than lie
Right.
and take a plea.
Because-
is that
yes,
the case?
that's the case. And-
you understand you're facing
Oh, yes.
potentially life in prison. You
I've
could
said-
be dead in prison.
I said if I die in prison because I'm convicted of this supposed lying to the special prosecutor, which I didn't do, they allowed me to amend that testimony. They want me to plead to the first day's unamended testimony.
Have you got any thoughts, signals, smoke signals, carrier pigeon that you're eligible for a pardon?
I don't ask for one. I don't expect one. I didn't make my decision based on it.
Do you want one?
It's not important to me. What's important to me is
More
that
of a binary. Do you want one?
I don't care.
Okay, all right.
Doesn't matter. What I decided was, we're here for a very short period of time. Okay, now in politics,
Well, we're supposed to be in this segment for 12 minutes. We're on about 25, but this is great TV.
in politics, yeah, I'll do public relations and I'll help create alternative realities. When it comes down to a Bible, swearing before a federal judge to a crime I didn't commit, in a plea deal it's dishonest. They're not even. It's supposed to be secret. I can't even report it to my broker dealer. I can't report it to the regulatory agencies. That's against those regulations. They were asking me to violate regulations, the special prosecutor, to take this plea deal. I won't do it.
Rather than compromise your own principles, your own faith, you'd rather sit in jail potentially for the rest of your life.
And my wife said to me, this is a hard decision. Of
course it is.
But is Daddy going to be in prison on Christmas Day? I said, I can't tell you I won't. Okay? My wife said to me finally, she said, I'd rather that you be the man I married and stay. I'd rather visit you in prison than for you to compromise your principles.
So there is that's amazing. A lot of husbands and wives out there that the wife may not take that position, and that's great to hear.
My wife's a very strong woman.
There is a good chance that you could walk in to the FBI headquarters tomorrow and say, you know what, I thought about it, and I want to sign that thing.
That's never
going
to happen.
You're home for the holidays.
Never
You're good to go. But I'm as a hypothetical, you could walk in tomorrow.
I could.
And they'll probably take your signature and say, here's another liar, and you're good. You're having Christmas with the family, New
I'm not
Year's,
doing it.
everything.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Okay. You heard it right here on What's the Deal. He said it right here. Never spoke to WikiLeaks. Never spoke to an agent of the Russian government or anyone Russian for that matter. No collusion, no interference, no meddling. We may never see him here again. on what's the deal, but I hope we do. Dr. Corsi, thank you very much. God bless you. May your family and your faith be your guiding light going forward. You're watching What's the Deal, where we break it down, we tell you where the rubber meets the road. I want to thank Dr. Corsi again, his family. Happy holidays. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. It's like a double barrel episode tonight. We got two heavy hitters. Dr. Jerome Corsi comes off the top of the show, and then right behind him off the top rope, the man himself, Mike Lindell, is here. Mike, thanks for joining us again on What's the Deal. Mike, you're the inventor of the My Pillow. You're the CEO of My Pillow. You have an unbelievable company. You make all your products right here in the US of A, and the thing is just taking off.
43 million sold now.
43 million pillows. $10 a pillow, $430 million.
1,600 employees.
1,600 employees, 43 million pillows, and he's still sitting here next to us in Cantina Bella talking about politics. Mike, I know My Pillow is an unbelievable success story. You were smoking crack and living in a car just years ago, and now you've sold $500 million worth of product somewhere around there. Something inside of you, Dr. Corsi was just here, he just talked about his faith in God. I know that God was one of the reasons that brought you back from the bottom. Not talking about politics, not talking about My Pillows, but your main goal right now is to build the Lindell Recovery Network. And can you talk to our audience about how important that is, the opioid crisis?
Absolutely, and that's my evangelism too. I mean, that's my giving back. That my passion is to help people and to help addicts. I was an addict. I was a crack cocaine addict. And what I'm going to do, imagine a website. The addict goes there. He puts in his age and what he's addicted to. Let's say 22-year-old opiate addict. All these stories, tens of thousands of them come down of his age, and there's people that have made it through with that same addiction, same age. All these stories of hope. Those are going to plant the seeds and go, wow, there is hope. And I'm going to have all the centers over here that I have vetted. I'm going to be like their tour guide on the website. Go, hey, you guys, come over here. These I have vetted, personally vetted, these Salvation Army, Teen Challenge, all these amazing faith-based centers that work. And I'm going to say, you know what? You guys go there. You come out, and guess what? I'm going to be waiting there for you. So when they come out of those, I'm going to have paid mentors all over the country that are going to be mentoring them as they come out, so they're not alone.
You were just at the White House. You're headed to Mar-a-Lago. You're somewhere in the inner circle of the president. Where does the opioid crisis come in the president's agenda?
I was just at the White House, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks ago, where he signed this amazing 800-page opiate bill. The president has such passion to help this crisis, and we're gonna beat it.
I heard the president saying that closing the border is one step in the opioid crisis because a lot of opioids and other drugs are coming from the southern border. How important is the border, do you think, in helping this crisis?
Well, it's twofold. I mean, you need that. You need to stop the flow, but you also need to, if there's a demand out here, we got to get people off it, too. And they both work hand in hand.
How is the president? How are his spirits?
You know what? The guy's amazing. He's confident, and that you can't beat that. You're not going to beat him. He's so confident, and he's so passionate to help this country and help people. He wants to win, and we're winning. How are you sitting now with this economy, this amazing economy, the things that are going on, the consumer confidence, all-time high?
Well, the African American unemployment is at historical lows. Right. Unemployment overall in America is at 40 or 50-year lows. Household incomes are up, wages are up, growth. Obama said we may never reach 2% again. We're well over 3% now. So the major economic indicators are up. The markets have been taking a beating the last week or so because of this China stuff, this tariff stuff,
but
this
let me
Brexit
tell you,
stuff.
when that ends, it's going to be amazing. And I want to tell you, it's the consumer confidence. People, the other piece you didn't say there. People, entrepreneurs are taking chances now they haven't taken before, and the wages now, where I'm at, wages are going up because organically they're getting careers now, not just jobs. Everything's going up because people, the consumers, they're buying. It's confident.
When you watch all this stuff on the left and the right and all this news and all this noise, Sometimes you just want to put your head on the pillow at the end of the night and go to sleep. Make sure it's a My Pillow, will you? You know what I mean? This guy's working hard for people in recovery. This guy's working hard for Americans, to give them jobs, to give them better wages, to make products in America is what we love. But most of all, Mike, you're a man of God. You're a man of faith. And when you have all that stuff, you're heading in the right direction.
With God, all things are possible, and that's it.
One last thing, Mike. The last time you were on, I said if our show doesn't get canceled, would you consider making a purple pillow for What's the Deal? Can we get the purple pillow? We're almost there.
And we'll call it the purple pillow, but it's the common sense pillow.
Yeah.
And this is the middle ground here. Let's all get together
That's
where the
right.
president's at. This is common ground, common sense. Pragmatic pillow, the purple pillow. Awesome.
Can we make the purple pillow?
Let's do it.
We'll
It's
sell
on.
it only on this show.
That's it. You
No
got
one
it.
else
You
can
got
get
it.
it. You can only get your purple pillow right
Next
here.
time I'm
What's-
on, I'll have the purple pillow.
Okay. Well, we're going to have him on right away because I want one of those purple pillows. But, Mike, thanks a lot. Thanks so much for coming back to the show. What's the Deal? And our producer, Frank Morano, our whole team, we hunt down the best guests, the people that tell it like it is every week. And Mike Lindell's here for his second time. I want to thank you again, Mike. You're watching What's the Deal? We'll be back right after this. Welcome back. We have our legal team with us again. We usually have a Democrat, an Independent, a Republican. We're talking about politics, but tonight I really wanted to bring some legal scholars on and talk to us about what the hell is going on with this investigation. Guys, welcome back. Why is Michael Cohen cooperating and still facing all this jail time, 42 months?
I think the thing is, it's two things in play. This is kind of almost what we sometimes call third-party cooperation. He didn't cooperate on his instant offense. He's charged in an indictment with 4 crimes, and he didn't cooperate on those. So he's not getting a 5K letter from the government on that. But he gave third-party cooperation, potentially with the special counsel's office against the president, whoever else it was. So he's getting some benefit for that, but it doesn't go to the heart of his indictment. And his indictment is going for, the government says he doesn't deserve much of a break at all. They think the 40 months recommended by probation is good, but they absolutely want a jail time. They want to send a general deterrence message. If you commit the tax fraud, you're going to go to jail. But this isn't really about tax fraud. This case is really about the president.
And it's very common. It's very common to get someone like a Michael Cohen who is in the nucleus. He's in the nucleus with Trump. He's in the nucleus with Manafort. He was Trump's fix-it man, if you will. It's very common to indict them and say, listen, if you want to cooperate and tell us what really happened, because we have the phone calls, we have the passports, we have the emails, we have witnesses who have told us this. If you want to tell us the truth, and you have to tell us the truth, then we will work with you on your sentence. It's still going to be long, apparently.
You said something interesting there.
Good.
He was the fix-it man. Michael Cohen was the fix-it man,
That's
right?
what, yep.
So what Trump is supposedly implicated in here is directing him to pay off women to go away and not harm him reputationally.
Wrong.
And it
Wrong.
Well,
he is in trouble for violating federal election laws by making a payment on the eve of an election to cover up what he did previously, and that's the difference. So maybe we agree.
From an evidentiary standpoint,
Go
you
ahead.
guys are slick attorneys.
I'm not objecting.
Practicing. I know, but
And I'm not slick.
Sorry.
you're not slick suit. You gotta go in there, champ. Let me tell you. But if Donald Trump has used Michael Cohen throughout history to pay off women to go away because they may cause reputational damage to him or his company, doesn't that negate your bullshit argument about a campaign finance violation? Because this is what he's been doing his whole life. He didn't do it to win an election. He did what Michael Cohen's always been doing. Don't you have some expectation that the attorney's not going to be breaking the law?
And that may very well be his defense, if in fact it goes that far. I don't think
So
it's
he
gonna go
does
that
have
far.
a defense.
Oh, he definitely has a
Oh,
defense.
okay.
I'm not.
All right.
My
Now
point
we're
is,
getting
I'm not putting Donald Trump in jail.
I remember like in 8th grade, we had these legal courses where they taught us this term, the fruit of the poisonous tree, which I've always tried to find some reason to make that true when I did something wrong. But the evidence used to get the FISA warrants that started this whole thing was fake evidence. So isn't this whole investigation 8th grade fruit of the poisonous tree?
Wong Sung is the name of that case. But yeah, so the answer is there's always a taint that goes through it and follows it like tainted blood, and it gets and it corrupts the whole thing. That also is true in the law, that if you get to a place for the wrong reason, but you could have gotten to there for the right reason, then the law allows that thing to be used again. It's kind of removing the taint. And I think it's a lot of what Mueller is trying to accomplish. That he may have gotten here by one way, he's going to find a way to get around to the other way, and that's his goal. Give a special prosecutor unfettered powers, they'll go forever.
When I hear a term like removing the taint,
yeah.
It scares me a little bit. I have all these visions in my head.
Welcome to the world of federal power.
Right. How do you unremove the poison from the tree?
Well, you're right. You may not be able to, and that's the problem Mueller has. I mean, there are a lot of people who think this investigation is a farce. It's not a farce, but it's problematic. And the people that have not yet pled guilty may very well fight the indictment.
Kev, your final thoughts on the poisonous tree?
I was just going to say two things. One is we may never know that because this is all done in a secret court, and there's very little transparency.
You have some experience. You had some background around FISA. And
no, I never did.
No.
But we may never know that, quite frankly. And there's some litigation going on down in Washington, at least what you read in the papers, that is all under seal, and maybe that's what's going on there. I wanted to make a broader statement. I lived down in Washington for 10 years of my life. I went to Georgetown Law School, worked at the SEC, and did a short stint in the U.S. Attorney's Office. And I don't recognize the place. It was an aggressive place, but the absolute search and destroy, where you're trying to destroy, each side is trying to destroy the other one. It's very, from where I sit, it's not good for the country. I think our enemies around the world, or people that don't like us, probably enjoy this. They probably put gas on the fire. It involves destroying institutions and families and kids and the like, and it's very sad to see from where I sit, living in New York and Jackson Hole, Wyoming, when you sit out there as well too. So I just wanted to make that comment.
So guys, thank you for coming down. Yeah. We had change of venue tonight. We're at the beautiful Cantina Bella for this tonight's show, and hopefully we'll be here again. And before we go, give us a prediction. Will Trump get indicted?
No, I fear he's going to get reelected.
Very nice. And Rick?
I agree with him on the indictment and disagree on the reelection.
Not desire, but I have...
No, I don't think he's going to be reelected, but he will be. He will now. I don't think he'll be indicted.
I don't believe he's going to be indicted while he's a sitting president, whether that's one term or two. I will say you could impeach, but the numbers just don't add up in a Senate where you need, I believe it's 2/3 of the Senate to convict.
You heard it here from our legal experts. The prevailing opinion is the president will not get indicted. He may get impeached, and impeachment is probably a win because the Senate will never approve an impeachment. Guys, I want to thank you very much for breaking it down. We put it in regular terms here. We don't take it too serious, but we try to bring on people that understand where the rubber meets the road. That's why we call it What's the Deal.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Breaking down
Thank
this deal.
you so much.
Kev, thanks for coming back. You're watching What's the Deal. A lot of politics, but coming back, the owner and my co-host of Cantina Bella, Neelam Brar, with our crypto panel coming up right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We do our show from a lot of places, TV studios, radio studios. Tonight, my co-host, my dear friend, and our crypto expert, has invited us to Cantina Bella, and we bring you tonight's episode from your new place. Tell us about what inspired you to open Cantina Bella in Midtown Manhattan.
Cantina Bella is designed to just be a feel-good place in the heart of Nomad, which is such a bustling area. We're a cafe by day and a bar by night with tacos all day, from breakfast tacos to lunch tacos to tapas. Come from a real estate background, John, and I really think that if real estate companies are going to survive, they've got to rethink how they position themselves throughout the day. You just can't be a morning place without having evening service, and vice versa. So.
You're watching this show on Sunday, but we tape on Tuesday, and it's Taco Tuesday. There's tacos everywhere.
Tacos everywhere.
Let's get to the crypto. Frank Morano, my executive producer, is a novice. He just started learning about crypto. Of course, the Kaz, CEO and founder of Kaz Inc. Let me start with you on the end, Kaz. We're in this pretty place. It's so beautiful.
It's
There's
sexy.
no beautiful places, but there's certainly no beautiful place right now in crypto land. And is crypto dead?
No, crypto's certainly not dead. And I know this year we've seen an implosion from the beginning of the year. But the bright spot that we've seen has been these stable coins. And to date, there's probably about close to over 50 stable coins, of which 25 are in production. So that's kind of the positive news in the crypto arena that's going to play out into 2019.
And Frank, you usually break it down very plainly for us. Does any of this make sense to you?
Well, I have no idea what the future of digital currency or cryptocurrency is, but what backs Bitcoin? What backs the blockchain? What backs cryptocurrency? And you always say, without fail, what backs the US dollar? And ultimately, what backs the dollar is that people still want them. People still want to spend it. And I thought what happened this week was just fascinating. With the Winklevoss twins opening up their own crypto exchange and their own crypto-based app, to me, this is another sign that cryptocurrency is becoming mainstream.
Neelam, what percentage of them are really valid holders and transfers of assets?
A lot of them were tech experiments. They were startups. And we know that the number of startups that actually fail is high, right? So we shouldn't hold crypto to any other standard. That said, the technology behind a digital asset is actually better than the current technology behind stocks. And so we do have a better technology. We just need to find a stronger use case.
The Winklevi, right? They are sort of the John the Baptist of cryptocurrency. People know that they were right on the money when it comes to Facebook.
I thought I was the John the Baptist of cryptocurrency. It's not me, it's them.
Well, they have a mainstream appeal with millennials that maybe you don't necessarily
I'm past my sell-by date.
have an
Sorry,
audience.
guys, you're not a millennial.
I'm not a millennial.
John is no longer a
Do
millennial.
we have that breaking news thing
Breaking
on the
news.
bottom? John is not a millennial. I am in this beautiful, wonderful place. It's not a man pub.
Not a man pub. It's an awesome place to have tacos, drinks, and coffee.
Our last and final thoughts on crypto.
The American government is very serious about cracking down on people that are violating the sanctions with Iran. Now, there's millions of people in Iran, and they have an enormous number of natural resources. People still want to do business with Iran. So how are they going to do it? Cryptocurrency. That's why I'm bullish on crypto for 2019.
For violating sanctions.
Yes.
Fraud, money laundering.
That's right.
Makes you bullish. Okay. Guys and lady and gentlemen, thank you very much again for bringing our audience to straight talk on cryptocurrency.
And thank you for having us here, Neelam. It's phenomenal.
Thank you. Come check out tacos at 29th and Broadway, Cantina Bella.
If
and
you're
cocktails.
in New York City
And drinks.
and you're walking around Midtown, you're going to see the Christmas tree, you're going to see the family, you don't want to go to a man pub. You want to go to a nice place where you can get a drink, you can have a taco,
And be inspired.
and be interrupted. Come on down to Cantina Bella, and come on down to What's the Deal every Sunday, where we break it down and we tell you what's the real deal. Thanks for tuning in. We had it all tonight. Dr. Corsi, Mike Lindell, the Legal Eagles, and the Crypto Panel. We bring it all to you here every week on What's the Deal. We'll be back next week with my birthday party and a holiday celebration for What's the Deal. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
John, are you turning like 30?
He's a millennial, so
Yeah, I'm a millennial. I'm 27.